Hello, welcome. It's Francis here. Thank you for coming back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I bid thee welcome. There is a subscribe button below if you would like to help support this channel by subscribing, and also a bell to be notified as to when I upload more content. I'm coming to you from Ghana country, and as such, I acknowledge the Ghana people of the Adelaide Plains as being the traditional custodians of this land. But this video is going to be about our upcoming full moon, which will be taking place here in Adelaide. Will be on Saturday, the 22nd of June, around about 10:37 a.m. So that's Australian Central Standard Time. In the Americas, it will actually be a day earlier on the 21st, Friday the 21st. It will be in the astrological sign of Capricorn at 1.07 degrees. So right at the beginning of Capricorn. And as always, when it is the full moon, this is when the sun and the moon are directly opposite each other. And the sun is at 1 degree, 7 minutes of Cancer. So what it's actually doing is highlighting something that maybe you've not been aware of, bringing it into your consciousness. So if you have access to your birth or natal chart, and there are free resources on the internet to download this if you know your date, time, place of birth, then look to see what house 1 degree Capricorn is in, because this is where the moon is, and to see if there's any planets or points that could be activated. And this will also, even if it is an empty house, I think mine's actually empty, I don't have anything in Capricorn, but look to see what house it is, because this could be an aspect of that house that is beginning to rise up into your consciousness, wanting your attention. But before I go any further, I just want to mention that the day prior, so that's the 20th if you're in America, and also the 21st here in the Southern Hemisphere, is actually going to be the timing of the solstice. So this is one of 2 times throughout the year where, over a period of 3 days, the sun appears to rise at the same point on the horizon. Hence the word solstice comes from the Latin meaning roughly standing still, stand still. And this also means that we are stepping into a portal or a gateway for that second half of the solar year, as the sun is now at what's known as the tropic of Cancer, the northernmost point in our skies, or probably more accurately, this is where, as the Earth moves around the sun on its axis, that the northern part of the Earth is closest to the sun, thus causing the longest day for those in the northern hemisphere, and also the longest night for us in the southern hemisphere. So if you are able to, on the 20th, 21st, take a pause and maybe reflect as to how the year has been planning out for you to date. Here in Adelaide, it will be the time of the winter solstice, so that's mulled wine, it's the time of the longest night, as I've just mentioned, and where we will also be turning towards the returning lights. Although, if I'm totally honest, it doesn't feel like winter has actually truly arrived yet. We haven't had all that much cold weather. I think we've had about a week. That's usually, July is usually our coldest month. And there is a 6-week difference between, so what's happening in this dance between the sun and the earth, to what we actually can witness on the surface as well. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, this is the summer solstice, this is the time of abundance where the sun is at its peak, yet there's also this sort of like death and life aspect at this point, because we sort of subconsciously know that from this point onwards, the strength of the sun is going to wane. However, I am digressing, and let's turn our attention back to this upcoming full moon. So the full moon is effectively like a completion of the cycle. If you do new moon manifestations, then maybe think back to what seeds you were planting when the moon was last in Capricorn when it was a new moon. And this would have been roughly about 18 months ago. According to my notes, that was around, say, the 23rd of December 2022 here in Adelaide. So what were you putting out there? What were your intentions? What were you hoping to manifest? What has come to completion for you? What is ending? Also, what needs to end as well? And another point about this moon is that it's the first of two moons that we are going to have, two full moons that we're going to have in a row in Capricorn. And next month, we're going to have another full moon, this time 29 degrees, right at the end of Capricorn, which is quite interesting because this is the point that Pluto, and I'll talk a little bit more about Pluto later, this is the point that Pluto has been hovering around this 29-degree point. That Pluto represents the old way of doing things, or what some people refer to as the old order. You may hear these terms in various circles, depending on where you circulate. Also, Pluto is connected with structure, so governments, corporations, big business, big banking, and it's almost like this old way of doing things is breaking down. And we can certainly see there's a lot of upheaval, a lot of change happening at the moment. And when these old ways, concepts break down, hopefully that allows the new and, can I say, more consciously aligned way of doing things to come into manifestation. We've yet to see any of that really to take forth, but we are in these early stages as yet. So another aspect about having these two full moons in Capricorn, especially when they are one after each other, is that they are possibly both highlighting something in that Capricorn area of your natal chart that I was talking about earlier, where maybe you've been on track or it's coming to an end. It needs to be changed in order to bring forth the desired results, especially in relation to that Capricorn energy and what you're wanting to bring forth into your life. In other words, as Marty McCord puts it, and I've got a reference to a video below, this Capricorn is about checking in on what you wanted to complete, to change, to experience this year. We're at this halfway point. So if you're not getting this cosmic check in this month, you'll get it next month. And it's, I suppose, a bit daunting to realize that we're halfway through this calendar year already. Okay, so the moon itself rules Cancer, the astrological sign of Cancer, and that is where the sun is. The sun is all about the self, the external person that we put out to the world, our subconscious and all that. So this is a shift in solar energy as the sun has moved into Cancer. And also we've got the shift being the 1 degree of Capricorn, so it's a new energy out there. And this may bring a focus around making something a little bit more sustainable for you, the lunar energy, highlighting something that maybe you need to end to complete. Maybe something will be highlighted that no longer serves you, or is actually in alignment with you that, or you need to sort of remove because it's not in alignment with you in order for this completion to occur, if it makes sense. I think it does. Maybe there might be a blockage for you to close off this cycle that will actually come to light. What's interesting is that we actually have 3 planets in Cancer. We have the Sun, we have Venus, and we have Mercury. Also indicating that there may be the need to feel, say, secure in your home. Cancer is all about the home. Also, financial security. Venus is connected with financial security and the need of having to achieve something. So Mercury is about communication, and this could also be how we talk to ourselves. And what's quite interesting in this placement is that we've got Venus, which is conjunct right next to the sun. It's at 5 degrees 52 minutes of Cancer. And Mercury is on the other side of Venus. It is 9 degrees 57 minutes of Cancer. So Venus is actually causing what's known as an astrological bridge between the sun and Mercury, is if almost it's wanting to ensure that everybody shines from the sun, everybody's been able to be seen, everybody's been able to be heard, there's the communication coming back. As Mercury wants to be heard, it could also be, because it's in Cancer, which is about the home, about mending fences, especially, as I've mentioned, because of this connection with Cancer, it's something connected with the family, the home, and family doesn't necessarily mean biological family. It's what you term as family as well. And Venus itself is a planet of love, of beauty. It's wanting things to be beautified, basically, but also in alignment with your values, because Venus is also connected with our values as well. And this theme is further highlighted as this full moon will be actually opposing Venus very shortly after its peak. Again, highlighting something in relationships, not necessarily close, intimate relationships, but also personal dynamics may need to be redressed, may need to be fixed or repaired. And another astrologer who I've linked below, so it gives the example of maybe showing feelings towards a person, which is Venus in Cancer, while keeping up with your everyday obligations. It could be that there's a distance in your relationship, or you have different responsibilities, so you're having to work a little bit harder in that relationship to keep it together. However, this is just more of a sort of a temporary thing, but it's just highlighting a little bit of sort of position difficulties, or we might need to put a little bit more energy into it. Also bear in mind that when the moon is full, it's connected with our emotions. Our emotions are heightened. Our feelings, which again is represented by Venus, and our sort of psychological self, which is represented by the sun. So these are opposing each other. And as such, we may not actually feel 100% our normal selves. Adding to this is one of the major cosmic alignments at this upcoming full moon, and that is this outer sign T-square between the sun, the moon, and Neptune, which is 29 degrees of Pisces. So it's not quite in a direct T-square, it's just what they call out of sign. It's just moved. So it's just about to move from or into Aries. So Neptune tends to indicate a degree of discord. So you might want to be a little bit more mindful of this, especially when it comes to emotional issues. And then when we sort of tie back with Mercury and communication as. And another point to sort of keep in mind, and we're seeing this, is that this full moon is also on what's known as the world axis, meaning that whatever is unfolding can actually also be playing out on the world stage for all to see. So do you want to air your dirty laundry? Maybe it's sort of a warning, just giving you a bit of a heads up to be a little bit more mindful. Likewise, it might be interesting to see what finally comes out into the limelight, especially on the world stage, that has been hidden in the shadows. Now, a further point that I want to sort of mention about this moon is that the planetary ruler of Capricorn is actually Saturn. Saturn is the old lord of time. Saturn is actually moving very slowly as it prepares to go retrograde at the end of the month until the 29th of June, when it reaches 19 degrees 22 minutes of Pisces. Pisces is very introverted, wanting to draw our attention inwards, but also wants to slow down and listen to ourselves. Listen, take note of our energy, the levels of our energy, the cosmos around you. When we slow down, we can gain a bit of awareness, listening to our guide, spirit guide, guardian angels, higher consciousness, ancestors, whatever term you use, and the messages that are trying to reach you, even if you're more sort of a body awareness person, the signs in your body. Pisces also relates to the imagination, seeing all possibilities, looking outside the square. However, it can be somewhat dreamy, secluded. It can actually lack in leadership and direction, so we're sort of slowing down. And as such, could actually bring up some emotions or feelings in connection with this full moon, which only means that these feelings and emotions are going to be heightened even further. And especially these feelings may actually connect with people that you have not seen in a while either. And I said that was the final point. One final point I'd like to share, and this actually comes from another astrologer whose link I've mentioned below, that's Donna Stelhorn, and she talks about the modalities in astrology. And Capricorn is a cardinal sign, so this sort of represents the generation of power in order to move forward. So Capricorn is about responsibility, ambition, work of sort of building something in the world. Here we go, connecting back with sort of what was I was just saying, with Saturn slowing down, connecting with the world stage as well. So it's like coming back to our foundational stuff. Is also connected with our resources and how we utilize these resources, how we sort of gather this resources together, how we hold on to them even more tightly in order to see what we can build. And this sort of ties back in with Venus, because Venus is connected with Taurus, and Taurus is also connected with resources. And we have Mars at 9 degrees 28 minutes of Taurus. It's been there since the 28th of June. It'll move on the 20th of July, but it'll be back in Taurus next year around the 18th of May. And all of this can relate to financial stability. So if you have gone through a little bit of upheaval financially, a lot of us have, this is probably a time which has been highlighted, is to start gathering those resources together again, which is rather ironic because I think in the last few days we've just had the announcement of how many billions Musk has been, or his payout is going to be, his increase is going to be for Tesla. I don't know why anyone would need such a huge bonus increase in this already exorbitant finances. Good on them, he's a very successful businessman, but it's just like, yeah, we won't go down that rabbit hole. It's just, to me, it's just excessive, highly excessive, especially when there's so many people struggling in the world as there is. And that's just my opinion. Anyway, so it's about resources. It's about sort of like needing to move forward. And it can be a little bit difficult because the moon is outside the sort of trine energy. So it means that the energetics are a little bit unstable. It can also sort of enhance feelings of uncertainty as well. So sort of summarizing this upcoming full moon, it could be very emotionally intense. So you may feel that you're wanting to sort of withdraw a little bit, sort of take time out to pause, to sort of tap back into that solstice energy. You may feel really disconnected as well. And as such, if you are in Adelaide, I will be holding a full moon gathering at Largs Bay on the Friday evening. So that's the solstice evening, the 21st of June. It's open to all. We meet on the northern car park to the sailing club. On the southern side of the car park, they are doing some they're building conveniences there. So in the bigger car park, meet there around about 7 o'clock. and we head down to the foreshore around about 1:15. So more details can be found on the Temple of the Dark Moon's website, again listed below under the link for public gatherings. If you are needing a little bit of assistance to sort of clear out old stuff that's coming to an end, that's being completed, that you realize that you still got emotional attachments to, or you're not able to move through them, so there might be some energetic connection that you're not aware of as yet, just want to mention that on the Saturday, the 29th of June, I'm holding an online soul-centered regression, which will be taking place at 9 a.m. Again, that's Adelaide time, Australian Central Standard Time, which equates to, I think, Friday evening if you're in the US. More details can be found, I'll link them below through the Mystical Soul Academy under offerings. And tapping back into what I said about the full moon gatherings, if you're wanting a little bit of sort of community, wanting to celebrate the solstice, even though this is also happening later on the 29th, so we're a week out from the solstice, from midday at Carpe Diem at Port Adelaide, I'll be hosting the Magic of the Winter Solstice workshop and ritual event. Store tickets below available. It's a 3-hour event where we discuss the solstice, the two aspects to it, the summer and the winter solstice, in particular the aspect of the winter solstice of the darkest night, how important that is, especially in our light-focused world, and also the return of light that comes at dawn. Looking at some myths and also undertaking a ritual element to it as well. So the links will be below. If you have any trouble finding them, reach out to me and I'll get back to you with the appropriate links. So I hope this video about the full moon in Capricorn, which is taking place just after the solstice, has been of interest to you. Again, check out the links to the astrologers below who I've utilized to prepare this video, because they're the experts. I'm not. Feel free to put any comments below, because I do read them and I do comment on them. And if you haven't already done so, you can support my channel by subscribing. And when I get enough subscribers, hopefully YouTube will allow me to do a Facebook Live at some stage. So a little bit of a big week coming up, a little bit of an emotionally challenged week coming up. Breathe. We'll get through this. Might need to sort of look more at some self-care, especially if things are a little bit unstable. Watch, heal, and breathe. Until next time, blessings.